Okay, I'm going to test. And it seems like it's live. Okay, great. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, devotee friends, because this only goes out to my devotee friends. Now, I know you're overloaded with Krishna conscious content. I'm sure you all subscribe to different Maharajas and preachers and Krishna conscious pages on Facebook and other social media. So this may be just an extra thing, but I just wanted to have a little bit of your association, and I wanted to share something with you. So I thought this might be a good way to establish some connection. Plus I'm testing some things, as you can see. I'm testing this mic, I'm testing most of all I'm testing this software that allows me to broadcast directly to Facebook as well as to YouTube and to other destinations if I choose to. So I'm just checking if the quality of the video is okay, if the sound is good. And I was just going to share a few bits that I read in Srila Prabhupada's books over the last week or so, and that stood out to me for some reason. So I just wanted to briefly comment on why they caught my eye, why they caught my attention. And I also wanted to boast and show you a couple of books that I just recently got. I've got pretty much every book that I could find, Srila Prabhupada's book. I've had, Caitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all the fundamental and foundational books. And I would think most of the small books as well, but not all. In fact, if you look at the whole list of Srila Prabhupada's books, I'm kind of now doubting that I had most. I probably have about 10 of them, but there are probably about 25 or so. And some of the books I didn't have for a while. And one which was most notable, most conspicuous by its absence, was the Nectar of Instructions, which is a very, very fundamental book, and it's part of the Bhakti Shastri study, which I haven't done yet, and I would love to do, but it's an essential book for that, obviously, as well as for for Krishna consciousness in general. It's Srila Prabhupada's rendition of Rupa Goswami's short book with his commentaries, with his purports. And I recently ordered some of these books that I didn't have from an online Krishna conscious bookstore. And I just wanted to note one thing, just wanted to mention that I actually find it pretty hard to relate to small softcover books. And the reason for that, it's not the contents, it's just that I find them so they're easy to damage, they're easy to just they're easy to break, easy to fold, easy to crumple. So that's one thing that I don't like about small books, and I tend not to read them. Of course, I have some professional books even here on my desk that are softcover, but they're usually quite substantial in size and thick and kind of big. So they're not like the small Srila Prabhupada's books, which are maybe good for carrying around in a sense, but you wouldn't carry them around for too long, because very soon they will start, you will see some damage. So, but I jumped for joy when I saw these new books. Well, they're not new, but that I ordered from from krishnastore.com, krishnastore.com.au. It's also krishnastore.eu. Basically the same website, and they sell the books that are based on the pre-1978 publications of the BBT, but they've done a good job as far as the publication and the quality is concerned. For example, here is Sri Upanishad in a hardcover Sri Upanishad, which actually looks quite nice, as you can see, and it's nice and light. The font is easy to read. It's easy to read, and it's got some nice illustrations, and yeah, it's quite nicely published. I'm quite impressed. For example, this is Mantra 18 of Sri Upanishad, and yeah, some nice illustrations. There is the bookmark, the cloth bookmark, nice illustrations, and the same goes for these two books, the Nectar of Instructions, Rupa Goswami's classic, and once again it's published really nicely. I love how it's published. Here are some examples. This is the Sanskrit, the translation, and the font is nice and easy to read. You can see it's kind of glossy on the outside, but not heavy, nice in the hand, and easy to hold and read. So it's kind of the size of those Kindle ebooks, and yeah, just really nice to carry around. And finally, something that I discovered that I haven't actually read before is Rajavidya, because that book is a tiny book. Like, I recently ordered the Transcendental Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, which is one of Srila Prabhupada's books that I've seen listed in a lot of BBT publications before, but I've never actually seen it. I never held it in my hand, never seen it with my own eyes. And that book is tiny. That's just a booklet, actually. It's about the same size as this notebook that I've got here. So that's couldn't even really be called a book. It's more like a brochure. Whereas this one, it's a proper book. It's got about 128 pages, and once again the same wonderful format, nicely bound, and I love the font. Especially at night when the eyes are tired, it's very easy to read this size, this font. So I'm really glad. And as I started reading this book, I came across some very interesting, very relatable passages, which I wanted to read to you. Right, so hopefully you can hear me, and if you can, please comment, just say yes or no. I would love to just get your feedback on this. Right, so I was going to read this. This is from teachings of Lord Caitanya that I have been listening to mostly. Not so much reading, but I've been listening to in my BVL application, which is Bhaktivedanta Vedic Library. I know a few of you at least have discovered that site and the application, in the last year or so, or more, I don't know, but I only found out about it a few months ago, and it was really nice and easy on the ears to listen to. I don't remember the devotee's name who actually narrates all the books, but he's nice to listen to. And so as I was listening to some of the passages, I then have been finding them in the actual book. So this is Teachings of Lord Caitanya, and found this interesting passage about the opulences of Krishna. It's a story, so I'll just read this story to you. Some of you have read it on my Facebook as well. So, So trying to convey to Sanatana Goswami something of the extent of the 1/4 of Krishna's energy, and I've been wondering what that actually meant, because sometimes you think, what is 1/4? Does it mean that 1/4 of all the jivas that are in existence have actually ended up in the material world? That sounds a little bit difficult to accept, because that would mean they eternally bound by matter, and every fourth jiva would end up in the material world. So that I still haven't found the answer to. I don't know if that's the case. And of course there are the explanations that the jivas, even though they're called nitya baddhas, eternally bound or eternally fallen, they're not actually eternally fallen, in the sense that eventually their stay in the material world will end, and they will also eventually be liberated. And compared to the eternal time, which is not there, it's compared to the eternity, that will be like a blink of the eye or something like that. But still, so reading this story from Teachings of Lord Caitanya, trying to convey to Sanatana Goswami something of the extent of 1/4 of Krishna's energy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cited an incident from Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Brahma, the Lord of the universe, came to see Krishna at Dwaraka. When Brahma approached Krishna, the doorman informed Krishna that Brahma had arrived to see him. Upon hearing this, Krishna inquired as to which Brahma had come, and the doorman returned to Brahma and asked, "Which Brahma are you?" Krishna has asked. Brahma was struck with wonder. Why did Krishna ask such a question? He informed the doorman, "Please tell him that Brahma, who is the father of the 4 Kumaras and who has 4 heads, has come to see him." The doorman informed Krishna and then asked Brahma inside. Brahma offered his obeisances unto the lotus feet of Krishna, and after receiving him with all honor, Krishna inquired about the purpose of his visit. "I shall tell you of my purpose in coming here," Lord Brahma replied, "but first I have a doubt, which I ask you to kindly remove. Your doorman told me that you asked which Brahma has come to see you. May I inquire if there are other Brahmas beside me?" Upon hearing this, Krishna smiled, and at once called for many Brahmas from many universes. The 4-headed Brahma then saw many other Brahmas coming to see Krishna and to offer their respects. Some of them had 10 heads, some had 20, some had 100, and some even had 1,000,000 heads. Can you imagine that? Just carrying 1,000,000 head on your body. What body does it have to, just hard to imagine what size body it has to be. Okay. Indeed, the 4-headed Brahma and could not even count the Brahmas who were coming to offer their obeisances to Krishna. Krishna then called many other demigods from various universes, and they all came to offer their respects to the Lord. Upon seeing this wonderful exhibition, the 4-headed Brahma became nervous and began to think of himself as no more than a mosquito in the midst of many elephants. Since so many demigods were offering obeisances unto the lotus feet of Krishna, Brahma concluded that the unlimited potency of Krishna could not be estimated. All the helmets of the various demigods and Brahmas shone brightly in the great assembly, and the prayers of the demigods made a great sound. "Dear Lord," the demigod said, "it is your great mercy that you have called us to see you. Is there any particular order? If so, we will carry it out at once." "There is nothing especially required of you," Lord Krishna replied. "I only wanted to see you together at one time. I offer my blessings to you. Don't fear the demons." "By your mercy, everything is all right," they all replied. "There are no disturbances at present, for by your incarnation everything inauspicious is vanquished." As each of the Brahmas saw Krishna, each thought that he was only within his universe. After this incident, Krishna wished all the Brahmas farewell, and after offering respects to him, they returned to their respective universes. That kind of raises an interesting question as well, doesn't it? We hear that the pastimes of Krishna are eternal, and they just kind of manifest in one universe, and then as soon as a particular pastime is over in one universe, it starts in another universe. But in this case, it seems like this particular pastime is happening at the same time in multiple universes, and Brahmas don't even, have any questions about it. They just know that Krishna is there. So it must be happening at once in all these universes. So, and that's in Dwaraka. So Krishna is in Dwaraka in all these different universes at once. Upon seeing this, the four-headed Brahma at once fell down at the feet of Krishna and said, "What I thought about you at first was all nonsensical. Everyone may say that they know you in perfection, but as far as I'm concerned, I cannot begin to conceive how great you are. You are beyond my conception of and understanding. This particular universe is only 4,000 million miles broad," Krishna then informed him. "But there are many millions and billions of universes which are far, far greater than this one. Some of these are many trillions of miles broad, and all these universes require strong Brahmas, not just four-headed." Krishna further informed Brahma, "This material creation is only a quarter manifestation of my creative potency. 3/4 of my creative potency is in the spiritual kingdom." After offering obeisances, the four-headed Brahma parted from Krishna, and he could understand the meaning of the Lord's 3/4 energy. The Lord is therefore known as Triadhishvara, a name indicating his principal abodes, Gokula, Mathura, and Dwaraka. These three abodes are full of opulences, and Lord Krishna is the master of them all. Situated in his transcendental potency, Lord Krishna is master of all transcendental energies, and he is full with 6 opulences. Because he is master of all opulences, all Vedic literatures acclaim Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so this is the passage that I liked from the teachings of Lord Caitanya. Now I'm going to temporarily stop this stream and just test how it came out on my different destinations on Facebook and YouTube. Then I'll start again and read a couple more passages. Thank you. Hare Krishna.